Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks for the time given to me. I'm Mafita Elva Iko and Miss Eko Purwanti from English Education Department, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, would like to present the student attitude toward blended learning implementation in ELF Classroom, the student perception. Here is the 5 outline. The first one is introduction, background, methodology, finding and discussion, and the last one is the conclusion. The background of the research. In today's technology focused world, many universities in Indonesia have merged technology in their course called as online learning. The online learning is an innovative classroom instruction which brings the technology and internet in delivering course instruction. Online learning includes the content and instruction of education delivered basically over the internet. According to Watson and Kalman, 2005, online learning is an innovation classroom instruction which brings the technology and internet in delivering course instructions. So there are several experts show that students influenced by technology and digital device development. That's why here the student also called as a digital native, where they are rely on technology for their daily life, such as for their education and also for their entertainment. The background of research in the implementation of blended learning based on the degree Richter regarding the use of online learning in 2018. And some English education department already implemented 85% of blended learning, where 40% are allocated for the online learning and 60% are allocated for the face-to-face learning. The researcher experience also as the background research because the researcher will feel uncomfortable with the blended learning and isolated, and also the trouble with the technical doing the blended learning. So this one is the identification of problem. Students don't have experience blended learning, student schedule time, internet-based instruments trouble, and the last one is student participation. The delimitation of this study will focus only the student attitude, especially student ELF, in terms of student attitude factors in blended learning. According to Main Tang and Yan Chao 2013, conclude that there are 6 blended learning factors toward blended learning itself. Here is the research question and the objective of the research. For the research question here is, what are the student attitude toward blended learning in ELF classroom? And the 6 objectives of research point here is to identify the student attitude toward the classroom learning factors of blended learning, toward the online learning factors of blended learning, toward the learning management factors of blended learning, toward the learning flexibility factors of blended learning, toward the online interaction factors of blended learning, and the last one is toward the technical support of blended learning. The blended learning concept. So since the blended learning merged in early 21st century, there were various concepts of blended learning itself. The blended learning was essential based on which had various concepts such as a computer-based learning, computer-based training, and technology-based training. According to Horn and Steckler, who asserted that blended learning enables the student to direct their way and movement through online technologies while being conducted within a lecturing setting, face-to-face instruction conductively. Besides, the innovative learning instrument is one of the way to reach the learning outcome. The blended learning outcome has an innovative learning instrument which brings the technology in the instrument in order to maximize the learning and teaching. Furthermore, Watson 2012 argued that blended learning improved the integration of face-to-face and online learning to improve the classroom experience and extend learning through the innovative use of information and communication technologies. So here are the benefits of blended learning according to Marshall 2012. The blended learning provides independent learning experience, applying more personal support learning, encouraging the independent and collaborative learning, increasing the student engagement in learning, give variety of learning style, provide practice space beyond the classroom, giving high motivated practice to the target language, and the last one is provide a flexible instrument. So Bernados 2005 asserted that blended learning in ELF classroom brings several enhance the students' English skill, such as writing skill, reading skill, speaking skill, and listening skill. Here is the factors on the blended learning according to Maintan and Yincho 2013. The first one is classroom learning, online learning technology, online interaction, learning flexibility, and the learning management. The student attitude in blended learning. From the several experts here mentioned that motivated increasing student critical thinking, learning achievement, and participant confident and frustrating. The last one is student ICT skill. Here is the related studies. There are 3 related studies you can see here. And the next one is the methodology. So this research use a quantitative approach where the setting is in one of English language education department in Islamic Private University in Yogyakarta. There are 208 students from batch 2017. This research sampling use a random certified sampling to collect the sample of the research. And here is the sample of the research. There are 155 respondents should be full in the questionnaire from batch 2017 in academic year 2019 until 2020. The data collecting method using a questionnaire. The questionnaire items have a 5-part of questionnaire item in a total 55 questionnaire. So the data collecting procedure, the researcher will administer the questionnaire by doing self-administered technique. Here is the descriptive arrangement you can see on the table, and here is the finding. So the finding here, we can see the highest score is on a classroom running with have 4.22, and it means it showed that the very positive attitude. The other show the very positive attitude was on the technology factors that have main score 4.17. The discussion, student attitude toward the classroom learning factors of blended learning. Based on the following tables, we can see that it showed a very positive attitude toward classroom learning. In line with Al-Hadi 2013, who figured out that the implementation of blended learning provides the advantages for both teacher and student as outgoing feedback for student. Also, blended learning enhance student communication and student interest. In line with Washington 2014 asserted that the implementation of blended learning in classroom to enhance the communication and student interest so that the student don't get bored. The next one is the student attitude toward the learning toward the learning technology factors. We can see on the table that the technology also have a very positive attitude. Supported by Harris et al. 2009, conclude that the ICT is the main key of blended learning. As presented on the table, the technical support of blended learning was found that the students should use technology in learning. The statement mentioned was in line with Abdul Haq 2015 will state that the blended learning guide the student to have an intensive technology use in the learning process, and the ASEAN 2010 assumed that the utilization of technology in classroom extend and extra resources for the student, and this is expected to improve the learner confident and competent as well as to develop the quality of the learning. So this one is the learning flexibility factors. The learning flexibility factors have a positive attitude. So some experts say that the blended learning provide flexible instrument. The students need flexible instrument to avoid their boredom, and blended learning provide the flexible instrument. GSN 2015 also learning enhance the educational needs of students such as flexible instrument. Further, the flexible instrument encourage the student to enhance the replacing group and individual feedback, respond in very specific areas, namely learners' feedback strategies and alternative assessment, synchronous or asynchronous. So this one is the online, oh my God. The online learning factors, we can see from the online learning factors here, Howard asserted that the online learning factors fulfill the needs of introvert students and those who are uncomfortable to share opinion in idea in public directly. The way blended learning improves student participation virtually in using their gadgets. So the student attitude toward learning management factors. The student attitude toward learning management factors as the last factors that have a positive attitude. From the statement mentioned, it was in line with previous research conducted by SCI 2010, assumed that learning management is a is a self-regulated learning process in which the student make conscious effort intend to plan, manage, and direct the learning activities as good as possible to accurate the learning responsibility with the teachers. So here is the conclusion. The conclusion here is blended learning is a learning innovation which merges technology and face-to-face classroom. And there are 6 factors according to the expert. The first one is classroom learning factors, technology factors, learning flexibility factor, online interaction factors, online learning factors, and the last one is learning management factors. So the recommendation for the institution, this research is beneficial for the institution to facilitate more internet-based instruments such as a strong internet connection, wider internet connection areas, and use computer in the laboratory to support the teaching and learning process. And for the teacher, this research become additional information for to suggest their student in order to make them to be able to maintain and optimize the learning process. In addition, the teacher can design an appropriate activity in their learning through the blended learning. So that's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.